Hola Héctor, brother, ¿cómo estás? All right, here we are. Welcome to Una Hoja en Blanco sessions, friends from Facebook and YouTube. Um, I could not be any more happy. I could not be happier than
Can
because.
probably be happy.
¿Cómo? No, yo creo que no, not today. Not today. Today was a pretty emotional day, I have to say, but this is kind of what's keeping me happy today to share this space with you, Pete, my dear friend. I'm going to let yourself describe yourself
Okay,
or
give me
tell
one
us what you
second.
do because I was going to say all these adjectives to describe you, but I'm just going to say my dear, dear friend, Pete
Oh,
Lee.
did I disappear on Instagram?
Maybe a little bit. Yeah, you're
Okay,
frozen.
I'm back.
There
I'm
you are.
back.
There you are. I think it works best if you do, if you get rid of the Wi Fi, I think, usually.
Yeah, I got rid of Wi-Fi. I'm okay with a little bit of echo so long
Yeah.
as it sounds normal to everybody else.
All
Um,
right.
well,
Pete,
hi,
who are
hi.
you? Tell everybody who are you. How do you like to describe yourself? Like, or like, what do you? How do you introduce yourself when you do?
I don't introduce myself. I just show up and I eat their food and I leave. I don't know. How does anyone introduce themselves? Wait, what's an example of introduction? How do you introduce yourself?
Well, you know the way I shared with friends who you are to
No,
me.
yourself. How do we introduce
Oh,
you?
myself. Well, I'm a musician, singer, songwriter, um, a sister, and an activist, a guitarist, a pianist, an arranger. It really depends on who I'm introducing myself
Yeah,
to, but
it depends on whose money you want, right? And then you put the thing that yeah
exactamente,
you put the thing
exacto.
that they're most willing to pay you for first. And yeah,
Yes.
okay. Uh,
But I think
I can.
maybe I'll say one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on. Well, one is I feel like we haven't talked forever, and I felt like maybe this was the only way to get your attention to make a flyer for this thing, and then you had to show up, right? And two, because I love you so much. Like I feel like reflecting on our friendship and on all the I got cut off for a little bit reflecting on our friendship and on all the people I've met through you and all the experiences and adventures I've had through you, I just felt so grateful and I feel like I wanted to share with the world who you are. And then I mean, I already know you do all these amazing things because I've seen you do them and I've followed you along and we're friends, right? You talk to me about them. But then I went to your website and then I found out you're like way more than
What,
even I
what did
knew,
my
right? Like,
website say?
your website is amazing. And like just I mean, I was able to look at all their stuff that I didn't know you had done and helped with. I mean, you're such a you know, like a community enabler and like a community connector and that yeah, I just wanted people to get to know you and to get to know your work. You've done so much work with the members with artists in the Bay Area, and so I wanted to hear from you. Like, what is it like to be Pete Lee?
I don't know. And that's a especially tough. Oh, it's an easier question to answer this year because I think a lot of our lives are pretty similar. Unfortunately, it's been flattened a little bit because of 2020. But I don't know. I spend a lot of time trying to figure out like what to do and what to do next, and how to. I don't know. Like I think I waste a lot of time trying to figure out how to not waste more of my time. So like I would spend a lot of time trying to craft something or trying to work on something so the time that I'm wasting becomes like an investment. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. You're a
Yeah,
creative person, right? So
yeah, and I don't know if nothing like shows for it than all that. And I don't know. And I also think there's this pressure to be productive, right? There's this pressure that like you're not who you think you are unless you have something to show for it. Um, so I think I spend a lot of time. Uh, I, I guess like sure sometimes I do things like with other people or for other people, but I think a lot of that comes from needing to validate myself, needing to like justify all the time I've already wasted, I've already squandered. Like people are nice to you, they've invested in you. Sometimes they invest money on your work, on your projects, and sometimes it's just time, and sometimes it's just like being really nice to you, and you want to make sure that you're not letting them down or you're not wasting their time or resources or kindness. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, totally. I feel like I can relate because, yeah, it's this thing of feeling like you're worthy of that time where you're figuring shit out, right? Like we're like all this
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
downtime,
yeah,
and it's like I'm
exactly.
gonna make it up with, kind of like procrastinating by cleaning the house, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, at
Like
least you
you,
have something to show for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
And I
um,
guess I don't know. Is that too general? Because I feel like that's everybody, right? We're just trying to figure out how to have something to show for. Haven't been here, haven't been in the place, and I guess I do that by linking people together. Like I do that a lot. And the more people I meet, the more I enjoy, being creative about ways to link people. Through parties, through film sets,
through
uh,
kung fu movie
through
uh,
movie screening.
parties,
Yeah,
screenings,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Just trying to figure out, ways in which like people's paths can intersect. Yeah, and then also try to make some stuff that maybe people enjoy. Uh, photos or uh, uh, film. Yeah, I think that's it. Sometimes like silly Instagram post or whatever.
Yeah. So I think the first time I knew of you, I met you as a photographer, filmmaker, and I think ever since I met you, you've produced such an array of things, music videos, where you try to involve the whole community too. I mean, I still remember going to Swedish music hall to
Yeah,
film because you filmed Cambrio's "Money." Is that the name of
yeah,
that song? And you
yeah.
brought so many amazing people, a lot of musicians, a lot of people who were extras in the film. Well, not necessarily extras because everybody got a little bit of time in the spotlight. I
I
remember I
never
couldn't
use
make
the
that,
word. I
huh?
never use the word extra because
Teach me,
my
teach me.
my mentor, his name is Stu Mashwitz, and he's like a brilliant director and a brilliant educator and a brilliant visual, like formerly a brilliant visual effects artist. Was there for all the Star Wars prequels and that kind of stuff, and he had this brilliant story about his first directing gig. He was doing a Cher music video called "Song for the Lonely," and it was like post 9/11 Cher, very visual effects heavy, and he was very very young. He was like 23, I think, and he was directing his music video. And it was back then when music video cost a lot of money, and they're spending big money. And he was so nervous because all these things were going wrong. And finally, they're about to start rolling. Like half a day has gone, and I think the way he told us, he stood on this ladder and he told everybody, this is what we're gonna do. And all right, when I'm done here, when I'm done, extras come this way, and then others come this way, or whatever he was saying. And he hopped down the ladder, and he's like a 6'4" like white guy. And Cher, I guess she's this tiny lady. She always seems so tall, but I guess in real
Yeah,
life,
she's not
tiny.
tall.
I don't think she is. Somebody Google Cher's height. Um,
Okay.
Cher something like appeared behind him, and turned out she was on set already. And she like snuggles up to him, she whisks him away, and then she says, I don't know, I can't do a Cher impression, but she says in this like really husky voice, she says like, honey, when you call people extras, they're gonna act like extras. But if you call them talent, they will give you talent.
Oh,
So
I love that. I love
so
that.
I only call people talent
Thanks for teaching us
because
that, Pete.
because of that. Yeah. Well, thank you, Stu.
Oh.
Hope you're watching, Stu. He's got better things to do. But yeah. Anyways, yeah. But yes, Combrio. Yeah, I forgot you were in that. That was a fun.
Well, no, Claudio was.
Oh, that's
I
true.
remember. I remember like going there, checking it out a little bit. Claudio was, was he did make it, and I saw a lot of my friends. I remember Kendra. She was amazing. I remember watching that video, and I thought like Kendra fits right in there. I mean, everybody else did, but like Kendra
Yeah.
is just something else. If you're
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
him, I love you.
Yeah. Kendra.
Um,
Kendra like steals the light. Like the light is somehow just more of it on her. She kind
yeah.
of steals stuff.
And another one of my favorite videos of yours, which I actually have queued it here so we can share it, is
Mhm.
the video you directed for McLeod. Actually, I remember falling in love with that video, and I watched it for a long time, or like I knew about it for a long time, and then I actually connected the dots, and because I didn't know that, somehow I didn't read the thing and didn't realize that you had directed it. And so when I found out that it was you who directed it, I was like so excited and so proud, because it's a beautiful, gorgeous video that you filmed in Oakland, right? Was it an empty space that
No, no, it was
it's an
a
office? It was.
startup uh, where they built an office inside what used to be a bank.
Uh-huh. So I thought we could watch it. How's that? Let's see.
Sure, sure.
Is that okay? Instead of talking about it,
Josh,
let's
is
just
that
watch it.
okay? Josh?
Who's Josh? Tell us.
I don't know. Josh is a brilliant producer. I met him at Sundance 2 years ago. Josh, are you listening, Josh? I don't know why being louder. It makes it funnier. But he,
Let's see.
he produced a
Share
brilliant short film
screen.
everyone should watch called My Dead Dad's Porno Tape. And I think it's on New York Times. It's on something, and people should watch it. Okay, sorry.
Okay, we're gonna share. Let's see. McLeod's. Is that what's showing now? Yes.
It's showing on your Instagram story.
Yeah, I know. Let me do it again from the beginning, because I'm doing StreamYard, Instagram friends. I'm doing Facebook, YouTube, Instagram at the same time. So here we go. We're gonna hit play on both.
Tinder, Venmo,
And
Farmers Only,
here
Christian
we
Bingo.
go.
We're on all the platforms.
Here we go.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Sorry. I don't think we can hear the audio, right? Hola, Moraima, ¿cómo estás? Anyway, I'm not sure that people can hear the audio. I'm gonna stop it. Hola, Moraima. Oye, ¿se escucha el audio del video que estoy pasando o no?
Hello? Hello? I'm back.
Hi, did you get your food? Is that what you?
No, no.
Can you hear the audio, Pete, or no?
I can hear the audio.
On the Instagram though?
Josh, can you hear the audio? I don't think Josh is actually watching.
Oh, I don't think they can hear it.
Oh, okay. Really? Okay, well, just do a link and then have them.
Yeah, yeah, it's all right. It's all good. But anyway, I have to learn the Instagram better. Anyway, I just wanted to at least show a little bit of it. Stop
Yeah.
sharing. Okay, we're
That,
back. That was
yeah.
a little taste. I don't know if you were able to hear it on stream on Facebook and YouTube, but I just wanted to share. You can always look it up and go
That video is fun.
watch
Do
it.
you sometimes make, like every once in a while, right? Do you like just have a song that comes so much more easily than anything else? And it kind of like reaffirms that, you can do this, or like, that you are not out of ideas, or that like there
Mm.
is some kind of like there's some kind
Flow?
of talent or skill that you've developed.
Do you mean that happened to you in this video?
Yeah, but I'm just trying to. But I think it's a thing that happens with people who make stuff, right? Every once in a while, you get something that works out the way you imagined it when you were dreaming about doing this kind of
Yeah.
work. You're like, oh, an idea hits, and then you work on it, and it's done. Like most of the
Yeah.
time, that's not how anything works. You have to develop a lot of discipline and a lot of like what even is an idea? We don't really know. But I remember, yeah, McLeod coming up to me, and we had so many different, iterations of that stuff. Um, for a while, we thought about doing like a Busby Berkeley kind of like really elaborate, geographical kind of dance choreography, but somehow it's all with hair, and hair is involved. But then, she only had a very, very small budget because she's an, indie artist.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure all of that out. And then one day I was just like, you know what? I don't really know what the song's about. And she told me, it's like a country song, and it's kind of like a forbidden romance kind of thing, where these two, a boy and a girl in a village, admire each other mostly through their hair. They just sing about the hair and things like that, and it's kind of, man, McLeod. If I'm just misrepresenting it, please don't kill me. But yeah, it's about kind of like this longing, this secret romance. I think there's a line about how even if a village burns down, it's not going to find any, like, you can like burn through the whole village and you're not going to find any trace of my feeling for you, because it's like how deeply it's buried. And
Oh
I just
wow.
thought, okay, forbidden romance. I know, like, I grew up Asian, in Asia, and also as like a born again Christian, that, like crushes and forbidden romance and that kind of stuff, like no, like lots of feelings but no touchy. Like I'm so comfortable with that. I'm so familiar with that. So I was trying to figure out, like, okay, but what is it? I don't know. I never buy like forbidden romance in America anymore. Every time they try to do an updated Romeo and Juliet, I'm just like, that's so silly. Like, uh, people, like, sure, like sometimes they have laws forbidding people, but like most of the time, like there's no taboo. They're really regressive policies and beliefs, but like we don't. There are not that many romances that are forbidden on principle of taboo anymore. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
they're cultural, religious, or political forces, but as far as just like, oh, I can't like you, like I don't find that to be very common or convincing when I see it in modern day America, except in offices. Like that's like the last that's like the last bastion of like I guess like legal, harmless, taboo romance. So I just thought, okay, yeah, if we want to do taboo, let's do it in an office. And then she also gave me another restriction, which is, she wants it to be sexy, but she also wants it to be able to play on national television in Ethiopia.
Oh.
So I was trying to figure out, like, okay, what is something that is really sexy but really PG? And I thought, like, tango, right? That's like the most
Yeah, 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 yeah.
sexual thing I could come up with. And I was like, I've never seen like an African tango. I don't know what that looks like. So I hit up my friend Shanre. She plays the female lead in the video, and we just went from there. Shanre's choreographed a bunch of stuff that I have shot, and I always feel a little bad for her. I always make it seem like I'm gonna cut her loose, and then I toss her something really impossible. I'm just
Oh.
like, yeah, just dance. Except, people can touch, and we're gonna do all of this other thing. We're gonna do it in one take and that kind of stuff. And yeah, and she's always like up for the challenge.
I think we all do that, right? As like
Like, let's
directors.
dance, but don't make it look like dancing.
Yeah. I
So
can relate. I usually say like, "Oh, it's just a simple melody, But can you hold your breath here and can you do this long run?" And then people are like, "This is not possible. Like it's impossible.
yeah,
I need to breathe."
yeah. I mean,
So,
I know there are filmmakers and other artists who are very good at visualizing a result. Where as they make something, as they craft something, they have it in their head like what's gonna be already. And even if it's not exactly the same thing, at least there's a map that they go with. But a lot of times with music videos, especially when there isn't just like a ton of like budget or resources to do what you need to do. A lot of times I think about it like a party. I'm like, okay, what, like, when I invite people to a party, I try to figure out like what kind of people will go together, like who gets along, but not they don't get along, like, so they're not so agreeable that it's boring.
mm,
That we spend like the whole night just agreeing about Trump or something like that. Like you you still want to find some gradient. You still want to find within people that will get along, like ways to push and challenge each other. You know, um, and so for this, like, it was really important, like, uh with such a small budget and such a limited amount of time, we had to figure out like every person that you pick to be on your team becomes like really, really important. So
right.
Z, who I didn't know very well at Cumbrio, I knew that beneath his like stage persona there's something like really sweet,
Mm,
uh, and also like I was just trying to figure out like, okay, how to put that, how to make him feel like a real person, and not just a performer in the music video. So that was fun. And then putting together that crew. I mean, we had no money, and so much of how this came together was really my buddy Drew Daniels, who shot the music video. He shot most things that I have done, and now he's doing like incredible stuff. If anyone watched the show Euphoria on HBO, he shot like half of those seasons. And Drew just really, you can give him any kind of problem, he's gonna solve it for you, so long as he finds it challenging and interesting. Give me 1 second. I'm charging the
is your
phone.
delivery food here?
No, not yet. I didn't get food. I got a jacket from like
Oh,
Japan.
from where?
Uh,
Japan?
yeah.
Nice.
Um,
I can't wait to see it. You have the best jackets. In
Thank
fact,
you, but
I think we were trying to we were debating, we were trying to figure out when we met, and I think one of the places where we think we might have officially met or like have the first conversation was on like backstage with at a Devachka concert,
yeah,
and I remember you were wearing an amazing floral jacket. I think you still have that.
I still do.
And then I remember, and I think I remember Claudio was there and will always remember that you told him, because Claudio's, he puts a lot of tension on like his what he's wearing and everything, and you said, like, this is how I knew we were gonna become friends, right? Like all of us, because you said to Claudio, you said, you look at him and you said, you went like this and said, I like your texture.
I said that.
Yeah, and I thought it was so cool because I'm like, who says that, right? Like, you refer to his texture of what he
Somebody
was
told
wearing.
somebody told me this thing about Claudio, and I just can't forget it. Is they said when you imagine the name Claudio, like he looks exactly like
Like Claudio.
exactly like a Claudio. Uh,
Maybe, yeah. I
so
mean,
I'm glad I didn't say that to him because I didn't come up with it, but I think about it all the time. Like, yeah,
yeah.
that's a Claudio.
Yeah, but
Uh,
anyway, I think that's where we met. Anyway, we were talking about jackets. You have the best jackets. I love jackets. I think that's why I love living in the Bay Area, because we get to wear jackets almost every day, every single day
oh,
of
what
the
is that
year.
line from 30 Rock where one character was kicking somebody out of New York and she says, have fun in San Francisco, always carry a light jacket. And that's just
Yeah,
such a mean thing to say to
that's
somebody.
cool. I didn't know
But
it was
yeah,
from that show. Cool. Hey, how
I like
about we make some music,
let's
friend?
make some music.
Yeah, you go first.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Play that song that
Oh,
you were rehearsing when we opened the.
all right. So
But tell us what you're saying. If you're gonna sing her in Mandarin, tell us what the heck you're saying.
yeah. It's a song about speaking of floral, a jade floral vase, like one of those Ming vases that is like impossibly blue jade, that color, and you see in like Asian art museums,
Mm.
and uh, there are a lot of kind of theories that's been written about the color blue, right? How it's like a pretty recent invention, and it's one of a few colors that doesn't occur in nature. I mean, the sky has water, yes, but like as a dye, as like
Mm.
it's hard to reproduce that color naturally. And there's this song about the production of like those vases from Ming Dynasty, how or Song Dynasty, I don't know, one of the dynasties, how you got to kind of wait for the perfect weather to do it, like when rain feels like smoke, uh that's when you gotta like fire up the kiln and that kind of stuff. And then a guy uses that to write a really beautiful song about um drawing parallels between like making of that vase and also like longing for somebody.
Oh, that's beautiful. I
um
love it. I wish I
so
spoke Mandarin. Is this a famous
yeah,
who wrote
yeah,
it?
his name is Jay Chow. Super corny, like Chinese language R&B kind of dude. And
Okay.
when I play it, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, this sounds like Destiny's Child at the beginning." But I mean, he's got beautiful lyrics, and he worked with this lyricist. And this came out in like 2007. So they use Google to write this. This is not but it's got like this really fun, like Destiny's Child but Chinese kind of
Mm.
feel. And but yeah, it's about, let's see. So it says like that jade, the sky jade blue needs like it awaits for like the smoky rain, and I'm waiting for you. And as the smoke rises like a mile high, and I think he's saying that that's how far they feel from each other.
Mm.
And he left like a little almost like a secret, little bit of like script. He scripted like the bottom of the vase that like nobody's really gonna see, and he says, let's pretend that's like a setup for meeting you. That's a foreshadow for meeting you. And then they also reference like some old poems. The sky is turning blue as I wait for you. And then he says something about when you, I'm trying to figure out how to, like when you try to capture them in the war, when you're like, and it's a reference to, like a 2,000-year-old poem where a drunk poet was trying to catch the moon in the water through a fishnet, and how that's like that for him is a metaphor for like, having your dreams dashed, when you try to catch that moon. And then he says this like generational vase is like pretty all onto its own. Like it doesn't need anything else. It just gorges onto its own. Just like that little bit of smile that I catch in your eyes. And then there's so many other kind of, anyways, it's fun for me to try to translate these lyrics because they're so foreign to the English language. Like what makes them interesting is so different from what makes anything poetic in English interesting. And that's fun to talk about it, but maybe not for people to.
Okay. And what was I gonna say? Because so your first language is Mandarin, correct?
Yeah, I came here as a teenager.
Oh, okay.
I was born in Taiwan. Yes.
All right, fire it away.
Okay. 苏配够了出情话，比风能转淡，冰神描绘了牡丹，已无你出装。然而檀香透过窗，心使我了然，宣纸上走笔字字各一半。有色渲染是女图，韵味被私藏，而你嫣然的一笑如含苞待放。你的美一缕飘散，直到我去不了的地方。Yeah, so that's very like Destiny's Child sounding, right? 天青色等烟雨，而我在等你。月色被打捞起，晕开了结局。如传世的情话，字字故字美丽。就让我为遇见你伏笔。天青色的烟雨，而我在等你。炊烟袅袅升起，晕开了结局。在平地书函里放前朝的飘逸，你眼带笑意。All right, I hope none of a listener actually understands Chinese because I just mixed up the chorus. But I'm gonna go to the second verse now. Okay, ready? 色百花情的经历，跃然地万地。笔墨送昆，笔墨送提落款时，却惦记着你。你隐藏在药草里千年的秘密，除了气息，你就如绣花针热地。帘外芭蕉热菊雨，入眠欢热童女。而我路过那香然小镇，惹了你，在泼墨山水画里，你从陌生深处被去。天青色的烟雨，而我在等你。炊烟袅袅升起，隔江千万里。在平地书函里放前朝的飘逸，就当我为遇见你伏笔。天青色的烟雨，而我在等你。月色被打捞起，晕开了结局。如传世的情话，字字故字美丽，你眼带笑意。All right, I'm gonna try to go up to G and see what happens. 天青色的烟雨，而我在等你。月色被打捞起，晕开了结局。如传世的情话，字字故字美丽，你眼带笑意。Something like that. And there's this like really beautiful line about how yeah, and I'm sure when you look up on YouTube, there are translations and things like that. Yeah, we should do some links. But wait, give me one sec. I love Heather. Give me one sec. Sorry, I kind of lost. Anyway, other people can hear me, right? Okay, great. All right. In dumplings? Yeah, I've done a bunch of those. Turns out people like those, so you just keep doing it. Mm-hmm. Give me one sec. How about now?
Oh, and you know what? I was muted. I was muted for the longest time on
Oh,
Facebook. Sorry, Facebook and
okay. Yeah, I was
YouTube.
so confused. Okay.
Whoops. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, we're trying to manage a lot of stuff at once, or
Yeah,
at
sorry,
once.
Facebook. Deanna just told her like dirtiest, darkest secret, and you guys, and also her bank account, which anyone who knows it is free to use it. And
Speaking
they're
of
gonna
bank account, no, speaking of bank account, we do have our Venmos, PayPals, and that stuff there. I'm taking donations to sponsor. I started sponsoring a kid who's having lessons with a musician friend here in the Bay Area. So my idea is to give access to kids in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, to amazing teachers, friends of mine. And so my idea is that I can pay them well to teach. And then kids in Juarez are going to have amazing teachers from a different place, and just different backgrounds. And so my goal is to have more students that I can sponsor for that. And so any donation that you give us today, or that you give me today, will go towards that. And I also included Pete's Venmo because you're always doing stuff for people anyway. I know. But
I
even if you weren't, like, you deserve every single penny because you're amazing.
all 5 pennies. But no, I do have a friend who went through some really hard times, and yeah, so it's still private right now, but in a couple of days I'm gonna make an announcement. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, or if you want to just give me Venmo right now, it's going to two really lovely people to deal with some just seriously like life altering illness, and not in a good way. So
Mm.
yeah, sorry. We could talk more about it at the end, but go ahead. I want to hear your song.
Oh, yeah, I have my guitar here. I just thought I'd. Um, what do you want to hear? I can have
Uh,
you pick a song. Although, you know which one I'm going to do because when I thought of which one I would do, I remember that day. And this is what I love about you and about our friendship, that I think as a, well, I don't want to stereotype, but there's a stereotype, right? Like with Latinos, like I think like we're very spontaneous. Like I don't need to make an appointment. Like you can call me and say, "Hey, are you here?" And that was very much you. Like, are you in the area? Do you want to go? Do you want to go eat? Do you want to have lunch? Or when you had Scandy, you would just call us and say, "Hey, do you guys want to have lunch?" And we're like, sure, yes, right? Because like we're okay with people calling on the phone and asking us to come over that same day, that same hour, like yeah. And so I remember I was in San Francisco and you said, "Are you around? I'm at my friend's restaurant," which by the way, it's an amazing restaurant, the one in
oh yeah, Mr. Juice.
Chinatown.
Yeah.
Yes. Just come over. People are making food. Bring your guitar. We'll sing a song for the cooks, for for the staff, for the people making. And I went in there with my guitar. Everybody was like super busy. I'm like, "Are you sure? This seems a little awkward." And but we did it, and I sang this song. I was having this discussion in a taxi having downtown, rearranging my said breakdowns come and breakdowns go. So why will you do? That's what I like to know. You don't feel you could love me, but I feel you could. It was in the early morning hours when I fell into a phone call. Believing I had supernatural powers, I slammed into a brick wall. I said, hey, is this my problem? Is this my fault? If that's the way it's gonna be, I'm gonna call this thing to a halt. You don't feel you can love me, but I feel you could. You don't feel you can love me, but I feel you could. You don't feel you can love me, but I feel you could. But I feel you could. But I feel you You don't feel you can love me, but I feel you could. You don't feel you can love me, but I feel you could. You don't feel you can love me, but I feel you I was walking down the street when I thought I heard this voice saying we walking down the same street together on the very same day. I said, hey, señorito, that's astute. I said, why don't we get together and call ourselves an institute? And you don't feel you could love me. Tu dis je ne peux pas t'aimer, mais je crois que oui tu peux. Tu dis je ne peux pas t'aimer, mais je crois que oui tu peux. Dices no poder amarme, pero yo creo que sí puedes. You don't feel you could love me, but I feel you could. But I feel you could. But I feel you could. But I feel you. But I feel you could. And then all the cooks were banging on the pans and no, they didn't. They were so busy. I was like, what am I doing here? They're cooking. They're busy. They're running a restaurant. Do you remember that day? Huh? Oh, wait. You're muted on... There you go.
I remember that day. I have a video of it.
Oh, let's share
somewhere.
it. You should share it with me one
In my
day.
Instagram story. Yeah. That was fun.
No.
Was that this
my
year?
friend. That was probably like 2 years ago. Yeah.
Last summer?
Time is flying by.
No,
it's almost been a year. It's going to be close to a year that we are incarcerated.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, you have this fascination for food, Pete, and you are a photo. How did you get into the photography business of or photographing food? You've produced or you've taken photos for amazing food
Well, yeah,
books.
that restaurant that you're talking about, Mr.
Uh-huh.
Juice in Chinatown. The reason I was there, the reason I brought you there was because I was shooting their cookbook, and it's coming out in March. If you guys want to get it from probably not Amazon, right? Powell, City Lights, whatever. Yeah, it's coming through Random House. Hello, is there?
Yeah, yeah, you're good. I'm trying to
Uh,
mute myself so that it doesn't.
okay, yeah.
But well, that's
But
that
how
one.
did I get into it? I had a best friend. You met him, Eric Wolfinger, who
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
baker at 13 when I met him, and he picked up a camera and he was shooting the Tartine bread book, and it just turned out to be this really gorgeous thing. And then in 2010, I was working with kids in the Tenderloin for like 5 or 6 years at Glide Memorial. I don't know if you know of it. It's a gorgeous place. Really really cool people
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. I go to church there every now and then. I
Yeah,
love
I
going
love
to the service on Sunday. I
I
don't go
love
there
it too.
often. I've gone maybe 3 or 4 times, but I love it. Like whenever I go, I'm like, why don't I come here more often? It's
I
amazing. The
know. And
choir.
ironically, most people that work there don't go to their services. In fact, when I was working at Glide, there's this place that I went to called City of Refuge, which was in Soma, but now they are out near you, like by Oakland. At least that's the last time I checked. And they do like incredible outreach to the LGBT population. I know Glide does it too, but City of Refuge also did a lot of outreach to like the trans community. I think they have the country's biggest trans choir called Transcendence, and I mean, it's emotional. It just rocks you. But Glide. Okay, 2010. There was a big recession, and so my job got reduced. And I was texting a bunch of friends on like what to do next. I always wanted to be a filmmaker, but the barrier of entry of film for filmmaking was, so impossible. But then I reached out to Eric, and he just said, "Hey, come help me film some bread, for Martha Stewart or
Oh
whatever."
wow.
Like, okay, so we just did
What
it
do you
for
mean
Martha.
or whatever for Martha Stewart?
I was her magazine. It's not like she was there. I think she was in jail at the time. Anyways, um,
Ay,
and,
Marta,
and,
Marta,
and we
Marta,
never,
¿qué andabas haciendo?
oh, we never looked back. And I mean, around that time, the technology for filmmakers has gotten good enough that you can't maybe reproduce exactly what you have in mind, but it was a lot closer than how things were just like 5 years before that. So it was just in the past I've wanted to make film. I've tried, and it was wrong place, wrong time, and eventually it was. I don't know if it's like the perfect place, but it was the right enough place. And in terms of food, so that was like the opportunity. But I became real attached the way a lot of I think Asian Americans become attached, which is just being Asian American in America. I mean, one, I don't even know what that means, because a lot of these experiences don't really overlap, and I'm sure you can speak the same for the group that they put you in versus your the community that you actually identify with, right? It's a smaller circle within like a huge circle. Um, but I do think that a lot of these cultures sometimes they don't even like each other within different communities that fall under the Asian American umbrella. I think one thing that we do all have in common is our food, and we don't have like a ton of like footprint on like pop culture. You know, we don't have hip hop music. We don't have J Lo. We don't have comedians, or I mean, a little bit, you know. But like our pop culture footprint thus far has been pretty limited, except in you know, arena, like culinary arenas, right? Like that's actually where we're telling our story, and that's where people are willing to spend money to hear our stories, which is also very different from the other arenas that Asians are in. And it's gotten a lot better in the last, I would say like 4 or 5 years. But I think, yeah, so it became like not just a job, it became like a little bit of a platform where, you know, it became really exciting to kind of capture, you know, how food is made, and what goes into it, and the history behind it, and people actually care, you know, which was a very, very new feeling. And it's also very recent. I came to the States 20 something years ago, you know, in the mid late 90s, and it just wasn't like that for the longest time. They didn't care about your food, they didn't care about your stories. It's all so new. And I think that's why I stuck with it, even though it, it ceased to be like the majority of my jobs or whatever. But then like a couple years ago, Brandon got a book deal because he got a Michelin star, that little underachieving boy. And he got a book deal with Random House and a 10-speed press. And I just knew, I was like, all right, there are a bunch of stuff that I had planned. There are a bunch of stuff that I was trying to do as a director, but I knew that I had to do that. I knew that if somebody else told his story, I'm sure they do an amazing job. But I knew that I would get so jealous. I knew that I
Oh.
would feel so missed out. So I really, I really put it out there.
So you
And
said it came out already, that book?
no, it was supposed to come out this year, but COVID just pushed
Oh,
everything
okay.
back and back. So it's coming out next. But Mr. Jews in Chinatown, JIU, Mr. Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a link. But
So
uh,
Pete, what would be like the meal? What is the meal that, I mean, when did you immigrate here?
94, end of
So you
94.
so you rem, I mean you were a teenager, you said, right?
I was a teenager. Yeah.
Yeah. But was there a long period of time where you didn't go back to Asia? Where you had like como like these episodes of like really missing your home
Like
country?
Sadage.
What did you
I
call it?
did Sadage,
Like
right? That's
nostalgia. Oh, saudade. Yeah, yeah.
Sadage.
Right.
That's Sadage, nostalgia. Are those two words linked?
Más o
Um,
menos, yeah, more or less. But I guess the question that I really wanted to ask was there a meal, was there a plate, a dish, like a food that like just made you feel that you were back home? You know, was there one dish that like just sort of makes you think of your home country like no other? And
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
which one is it?
Okay, there are a couple of answers, right? Because it kind of changes, because like again, when I first came to America, I was on the East Coast in like a little beach town, not beach town, but it's like close to the seaports, or whatever, you know, in Massachusetts, where you know, you get like one Chinese restaurant, and that's it. So what I was craving at the time is very different from what I crave now that, you know, we're in San Francisco, where we have almost an Asian majority, and there are also a lot of Taiwanese people. But the one thing that I really can't get, the one thing that I really miss, are like these little like box noodle meals that you get from like a 7-Eleven in Taiwan. There's sesame noodle with like this like spicy kind of peanut sauce. There are a lot of variations of it. You can find it kind of throughout Asia, especially like Southeast Asia. But the way we do it in Taiwan is really interesting. It's a very, very simple dish, right? You get cucumbers, you get noodle, and you get a sauce, and that's it. For $1, that is it's a really good meal. But that sauce is really funny because Taiwan is this little island that is just like being pulled from all sides with different influences and cultures. So there are like parts of it that feel very Japanese, and there are parts of it that is Chinese, which is like the majority culture currently happening in Taiwan. And there's also a lot of it coming from like Southeast Asia because we're a subtropical island. So I really miss that dish. And I don't know if you ever get these kind of stress dreams where, there are a couple obvious stress dreams, right? You're about to take a test for a class that you didn't know you were part of, or maybe it's moving day or whatever. But one of the stress dreams that I usually have is I'll be in Taiwan, and a flight is about to take off in like 3 hours, and I just don't know what my last meal is going to be, and I don't know how to choose, and I just feel paralyzed. Like that's one of my stress dreams.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Do you get those stress dreams?
um, well, the way you
There's
just well, it's more like stress dreams, not like bad dreams, right? Like
yeah,
it's a specific like stress.
yeah.
Well, I guess yeah. If you could call it, you can check, or you can tell me if that could be considered a stress dream. I'm playing basketball, and I can't bounce the ball. I grew up playing basketball almost my whole life, my whole school years.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm pretty good, right? Like I know how to bounce the ball, and and I can run with it. I can,
It's called dribbling.
or perdón, dribbling. Yeah, I played in Mexico most of the time, and actually when I played in the States, but I did not know a word of English, so like I don't know the vocabulary. Obviously, dribbling, is that what it's called? Like when you go like this, botar la pelota.
Yeah. Like,
See, like I don't even know how to say it. That's so embarrassing.
you do it
Uh,
through your legs, back and
yeah,
forth.
yeah, yeah, totally. I can even do I can even
Yeah,
balance it on
yeah.
one finger. Yeah. Anyway, so a stress dream. I think that's a stress dream. I can't so like I'm dribbling the ball, and I can't do it, and then I can't run really well. It's almost like, and I'm trying to get myself to do it because I'm like, I know how to do this, right? So it's very really stressful because it's almost like I can't function in the game, right? And I'm playing a game, and I'm supposed to like pass the ball or like shoot, and I can't, and it's that is that considered a stress dream?
Yeah, and I just realized I've had musical stress dreams before where I'll be strumming the guitar and it becomes like impossibly
See,
hard to
yes,
strum.
I think I've had those too, like with piano
Yeah.
especially.
Or as a drummer, every time I hit something, the cymbal just becomes like further and further away. Or when you play it, it becomes something else. You're like, oh, I'm playing a cup. I'm not playing the drums. And which is funny, it was a couple years ago. Do you know Roger Rocha, guitarist?
I don't think so.
Incredible guitarist. Anyway, he was a band leader for Margaret Cho, who was performing in the streets. And he pulled me in for some odd reason and had me play like a really crappy drum set. And all those like stress dreams came true where like, yeah, you're playing drums in the streets and the surface is uneven. And every time you hit the kick, it just gets like further and further away from you. Um, but anyways, oh, I had one stress dream in middle school. I hope she's not listening to this. There's this girl in middle school who really liked me, and for whatever reason, I just like wouldn't talk to her. Had I known how few people was gonna like me for the rest of my life, I would have taken it more seriously. But for the longest time, I just wouldn't talk to her. And then I would have these weird stress dreams where I would come home and I'll find a giant present on my bed, and my dad would be like, "Yeah, she came by." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then he's like, "Yeah, she was really nice and she was really sweet, and you are going to have to go to her house to thank her for this present." And I was like, no, I don't want to. That's my dream. Like I've had a recurring where the stress of it is just like walking to her house. It's like, I don't want to talk to her. But wait, you muted yourself again or something, right? Did you?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Heather just said that she knew you would bring this up. Is that her?
Heather, no.
I thought maybe the girl had showed up. I thought maybe
I
that was
was,
you, Heather.
man, that's incredible. No, I think she's like MAGA or whatever. I feel like I made the right choice.
All right.
But that was Heather. You knew about that dream? That's crazy. I should stop telling Heather stuff. Heather, I'm gonna stop telling you things.
Why didn't you
No
just
more.
accept her gift, Pete? Come on.
I
Why didn't
know.
you just accept her gift? You can keep talking. I'm gonna close that window. I don't know. Do you see what I've
I
got going
love
on
it.
here?
It's
This
like
light.
artistic. No,
It
it's
is
artistic.
kind of artistic, but I'm getting
Don't close it.
roasted. No? Okay. Maybe
Yeah.
we can sing a song about the light. Do you have a song about the light?
Uh, that I know that I could play. Uh, no, there are a lot of songs I like about the light. I don't know any that you do though.
Yeah, I do. But I feel like I've been
Oh,
singing it at every.
I do have one. It's also Chinese though.
Oh, sing it. Sing it, please. Do
Okay.
it. Go for it.
Let me look up the lyrics. Um,
While you look for the lyrics, I'll play you a instrumental, light, dreamy.
I love that. Keep
What?
playing. Sorry.
Oh.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah, this is
What is
this
it
is
called?
song by, it's called Nirvana or Release. Um, like Nirvana, when it's translated, it means like a release, right? The idea of like letting things go, right? Like why Nirvana is supposedly heavenly is because and I'm being very reductionist right now, but in Buddhist believes, life is suffering, right? So when you can let things go, that is when you stop suffering. And the song's about that. It's just about this girl who can't get over her lover, and then it's just that like rush of euphoria that comes when you can like when you
Let it
finally
go.
let everything go. And it's just so cool. There is this nice little like string of like female centric pop songs in the 90s that all like talk about getting over people and getting over things in Buddhist terms, and I love them. I don't know if people ever like consciously categorize them as a subgenre. I love it. And then it's by indigenous artist named Ame, aka Kulile Amit. And she's just this incredible artist. And there are a lot of great indigenous artists in Taiwan. And what I really love is I went to a couple of indigenous churches when I went back to visit because my grandfather founded one. He's a real nice guy, but he's got some like missionary mentality. And a lot of indigenous tribes are now all like mostly Christian. Like they still adhere to their beliefs, but there's this like Christian influence because Christians were pretty aggressive in their outreach to them. And but I find it fascinating that, you have this like Christian tradition, Christian culture that is very different from like the mainstream Christian culture. Even though in Taiwan, we're a small minority, but still very, very different. And they have, and they have just like so much music that is their own, that is kind of like filtered through hymns and gospel music. And I just love that. I find all this overlap and strange like parallels between like indigenous gospel music and Black gospel music. And I don't know. Someday somebody more intelligent than me is going to be able to like draw parallels and understand why. For me, I'm just fascinated. And also, indigenous people in Taiwan, they're pretty underrepresented and they're marginalized, but they also have like an outsized impact on pop culture. And in many ways, it kind of reminded me, when you're reading a lot of like history of pop culture in America, it reminded me of what happened with like Black culture in the especially like 40s and 50s. When like pop culture was becoming a thing, and how this like marginalized group, some of it is like appropriated, some of it and some of it they kind of own, but they got to shape it either way, and that kind of reminded me. Anyways, I don't know, but anyways, so this song.
Yeah, tell us about the song.
All right. It's just about, I mean, in the beginning, it's kind of like a normal kind of heartbreak kind of song. Love keeps you up, and memories, they kind of cloud you like nebula. And the tears, the more you cry, the hotter that they get, but I still feel really cold. And the person the man whose heart changed, the more I think about it, the more it hurts. And then so I just end up like sitting until the morning, when the morning light like turns the room on, is how she kind of describe it. And then
Is this when she heals, like when she lets go? Is that the moment when she's able to release this pain?
Yeah, but
or
then
no?
there's like a little bit of like a, not a bridge, like a pre-chorus, right? You can like overthink it, but if the ending's the same, why overthink it? And these like wounds and these scars, if they help me grow, then what am I afraid of? And then she says, let go, which means I can admit that this was a mistake, and which means I should not be willing to let go. You have the right to walk, and I have a right to like a great life. And then like let go, that means like after the tears have dried, I can find a new direction and just start heading that way. And the world is so wide that one of these dreams got to come true. And I just love that.
That's amazing. I love it. Was it written by
No, it's not
by
written by Ame.
Okay.
She just she just kills it.
Okay,
爱
go for it.
是不夜城，回响星辰，热泪越沸腾，我越感觉有点冷。变了心的人，越想越伤人。苦坐到清晨，阳光进房间，开了灯，像肉结局一样，又何苦再想？伤若让人成长，我为什么怕分手的伤？解脱是痛，承认这是个错，我不应该还不放手。你有自由走，我有自由好过。解脱是懂得跟泪看以后，找个新方向往前走。这世界辽阔，我总会实现一个梦。And then this is a bridge, and which says like, suddenly this like instinct to be brave wells up in my heart, because I don't want the people who love me to worry about me ever again. 心里有一种渴望勇敢的念头，不要爱我的人再担心我。 是懂承认这是个错，我不应该还不放手，你有自由走，我有自由好过，解脱是懂擦干泪看以后，找个新方向往前走，这世界辽阔，我总会实现一个梦。Something like that.
Nice. Ay,
Yeah.
qué bonito. Gracias. We all need some light in our worlds. We were talking about earlier about being a little bit shook it, or we were talking about about death and about losing loved ones, and we were trying to figure out which song would be cool to
Yeah, what's your funeral song?
yeah, like
What's
a funeral song.
Yeah. I feel like you would just sing one on your own, right?
Well, I feel like I think Amor a
if you were
Todo,
saying
my
goodbye,
songs. Huh?
if you're saying if you were saying goodbye, I mean, not to get a little morbid, but if you were to go, would you sing your song or would you play somebody else's song?
No, I would sing somebody else's.
You would okay.
Or like I would ask that a different song would be played. I don't know. I thought first
There are two occasions, right? One is like a funeral, like after you've gone. Obviously, don't play my record. Or two, I don't care. But then the other one is, what if like you get to like do something? You get to be like conscious as you pass.
I get to be what?
Like conscious, like as you're leaving. Like you
Oh,
get.
I see. Like my leaving song.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, that doesn't happen very often. You have to be like a death row inmate for that too.
Right. Well, or like when they tell you, like you have a few days. Like I feel like some people know when they're leaving.
Yeah.
Or like people in hospice. I've played for people. I mean, I had a beautiful experience where I actually got to say farewell to a friend of mine. I actually grew friends with them, this family, because I started singing for this kid, and I actually got the honor to tell him farewell with a song that he actually gave me, because I didn't know what I was singing. I just started singing, like improvised lyrics.
Wow.
And then he went, and then like as I'm singing and all the female energy is embracing her, because it was her mom, her sister, her grandmother, and myself surrounding him by the bed, and I was singing the song, and that's how he left this plane, like as I sang that song. And it's a song that says, vuela, vuela, pajarito, fly, fly, little bird, vuela, vuela, ya mi amor, fly, fly, my love, my dear love. En la luz está tu nido. Your nest now is in the light, and with your light, my heart rests, or something like that, or I stay in your love, or something like that. Vuela, vuela, pajarito. I can sing it. It's for Chuyito. I think I experienced true love, and when I mean love, I just mean like deep, the most profound love I've ever had, or received, actually, was from this guy, from this kid.
When was this?
This was, I think, 2 years ago. He passed away in October. I think it's gonna be 2 years. Yeah, it was just such a beautiful moment. When I met him is when I received, like when I knew he was an incredible kid, and he was 21, and he had Down syndrome, so to me, like his innocence, even though he was 21, to me he had the innocence of a 5 year old, but the soul of somebody who's ancient, out of this world. And my friend told me that she heard an echo coming from me. I don't know. Are you hearing echoes on Instagram?
Yeah. Let me mute as you. Yeah.
It's a really short song. It was just like, these words came to me as he's sort of saying goodbye in his own way to his, family. We didn't know, but like we knew. The mom was already inviting him to go. He said, she kept saying it's okay if he was in pain. So, vuela, vuela, pajarito, vuela, vuela ya, mi amor, que en la luz está tu nido, con tu luz me quedo yo. Vuela, vuela, pajarito, vuela, vuela, Chuy, mi amor, que en la luz está tu nido, con tu luz me quedo yo. Que en la luz está tu nido, con tu luz me quedo yo. Vuela, vuela, pajarito, vuela, vuela ya, mi amor, que en tu luz está, que en la luz está tu nido, con tu luz me quedo yo. Anyway, and it just kind of goes on and
Wow.
Anyway, I mean, it's amazing how death can also bring about. It's a funny business, huh? It can also bring about. Oh, I hear some. Do you hear that?
What do you hear?
Some distortion or?
Oh, let me try to figure out. Okay, one sec.
Or are you getting a message? Your delivery?
No.
It sounds like a.
Can you hear me? Is it
like-
better now?
I can hear
Yeah.
you. It's just like it sounds like as if a cable. There. I think it's gone.
Okay.
As-
I had my headphones on and things are coming through the headphone. Like, I'm sorry if I was being really echoey this whole time. Sorry to your friend.
No, I think it's okay. But I'm glad that they mention it because it's it's good to fix it. But anyway, so yeah, we were talking about songs for the like farewell songs, like for people that are leaving this plane. And
But I think you brought up something. Maybe you didn't mean to bring it up, but sometimes it's better to have somebody else handle it, right? Like what fun! It's like you're trying to give yourself a massage. Like it's not doesn't really work if you're your own DJ.
Yeah, although I wonder. I mean, music is so healing that I wonder if. No, usually when I'm in pain, if I'm in physical pain, I usually don't have the energy to sing or. Although I do know that a lot of the times when I'm in emotional pain and I play and I sing, then I do feel the difference, and I do feel the healing,
Yeah,
like
this would be
acting
like
right
a
away. But
hypothetical farewell, right? Because like statistically,
right,
most of
right,
us aren't going to be able to. Yeah.
right, right. Yeah,
I mean,
but
I do hear stories like that. One of my earliest mentors was this street storyteller named Brother Blue from Boston, who was pretty old. He was in his 80s, 84, 85 when he passed. And he knew kind of, and he got released from the hospital. He called his, and he had his wife, Ms. Ruth. She called some friends over and they came over and then they had dinner and then he said something like, I want to tell a story now, so get a recorder out. And she's a professional, she's an oral historian at Harvard, Ruth Hill. So she brought out the tape and then he does his stories. And at the end of usually at the end, and then his stories are usually improvised, they feel very musical. One day we'll share them. At the end of the story, she usually asks him like, "What's it called?" And I think he said something like, "It's called Farewell" or something like that. Like he kind of knew. And then they left, and then with just him, apparently he just lay on the couch and he was looking up, like through the ceiling, the way she described it, talking to him, and they just talked and talked until he stopped talking. And I was so sad when I found out, but also I just can't think of we don't get that many choices on like how we'd go or how we'd die, and I just can't think of a more serene way, like a more appropriate. This is the kind of death that you read about that happens to like good characters in books, right? Like in Les Miserables, the last page was Jean Valjean being surrounded by his loved ones and looking up, So I just, yeah, in a way, I envy him, to be surrounded by your loved one and then to just go out like that. Anyways, but yeah, what is your song?
no, I wanted to say I still hear that. It's like a staticky noise.
Oh,
It could be coming from a microphone cable or
give
something.
me
If
one
you have
sec.
a
Give me one
cable.
sec. It's about to be gone, right?
No, I wonder if it's me then. I still hear it, but it just, I don't know.
Okay, wait. I think the trouble is it's coming from both the phone and the computer. I don't know how to turn off the mic on my phone, I guess. Do I mute my? I don't know how to. Can I mute myself on my on IG, or can you mute me? You're on mute right now on your computer.
That's true. Oh my gosh, so many buttons and knobs. I think it's gone. Maybe.
Okay.
I think maybe it's when you're speaking. But anyway, well, um,
I think maybe that's technology's way of. All right, pick your song, and then we can
oh,
get
pick
out of
which
these people's
song? The
lives.
one, the which
Yeah,
one?
if you had to DJ your own passing,
Yeah. I don't know which one. I had one, but it's like such a cliche one. I found out like when I first heard it, it was like it's a some movement of a string quartet of a Beethoven string quartet, and then I guess Virginia Woolf also wanted that during her funeral or something. Like I didn't know it
oh
was so
yeah, that's
popular.
so that basic girl,
Yeah,
Virginia Woolf,
and
so
so
basic.
and I'm like, oh no, I don't want one that's already like that everybody wants, But I guess where I could defend my position for wanting this song and still be original is I would specifically want the Takash Quartet playing it, which is there's no version, there's no there's no version like the one they play. They play it so slowly, like the tempo is everybody would probably think it's off because they're the only quartet that I found that plays it so slow that it feels like a different song. And so anyway, so I'm inclined to say that one because that's the one that I always thought that I would go with.
You should share that link at the end
I will.
with your listeners.
Yeah. You can, I think you can only, yeah, you can find it on Spotify, I think. But anyway, yeah. And so what about you? Although
Well,
I know
earlier
that,
we were talking about this thing for my friend who is a passing Twee. Um, I gave her, I guess, the one that I wanted, which was "Last Beat of My Heart" as covered by Devachka. I think that's what you have on right now. I think,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
I just think that one is perfect. But there are a couple of like runner-ups. There is "Freight Train" by Elizabeth Cotton. You know, the version that she plays when she's like 99. You know, the lefty guitarist. Oh man, that one is so good. And also the "Sweet By and By," the version by Olympia Brass Band. That is like very like New Orleans funeral kind of arrangement. I really like that one. Oh, look at this. Is that guy sleeping or?
Have you seen this? Well, this is the one that you sent me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Should we
I don't
listen
think
to
it's
it
a
a little
video.
bit? Let's listen to it a little bit. It's such a beautiful
Yeah,
song.
I love the opening.
I think the sound comes in and out on Instagram. But anyway, everybody check this song out. This is our friends from Devachka. How do I stop? There it is. But thanks for introducing me to that song. It's beautiful.
I want to hear your version. I want to hear your version.
I know I'm gonna learn it. I'll learn it.
Devashka does a lot of really interesting stuff with their influences, right? And I feel like they love to like they love to use
Oh,
influences.
wait. You're muted on Facebook. Yeah. All these tabs. Sorry. There. You got it? There.
Got it. Okay. No, Devachka. They like to draw a lot of different influences, and one of the things they like to do is to use like the accordion or the strings to like thread that needle between like Eastern European music and Mexican music. Um, and But for this song, they didn't have it doesn't have like a very strong like Mexican root, not as strong as you know a lot of their other songs have that like very strong southwestern vibe, or even if it's not that way on the record, they will play it, they'll do a live arrangement of it. And I would love to hear your version.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna do it. I love it. I loved it, and it's such a. It feels like it's good for these times.
Yeah, I love songs that have like a biblical influence that's not like very obvious, you know. I don't know, I feel like the gospel music, like spiritual music, used to be so much better than what it is now. You know, than like the DC Talks, like whatever they did, Hill songs, whatever they did to pop culture is kind of egregious. It's kind of worse than what Satan did. Well, they claim Satan did. Uh, yeah, just having terrible taste in music. I felt like turned more children off than like satanic rock or whatever. But I mean, that used to be, you know, Sushi and the Banshees. You can't say that they're like very religious. You know, you can't say that they're very Christian. But there's like a hymnal, like they really understood the spirit. You know, yeah.
Friend, do you say we can wrap it up by
Yeah.
doing this cheesy thing that I have been doing?
Yeah, let's do it.
Anyway, yes, you have your blank sheet of paper, and maybe
Yeah, I'm looking for my pen, which was here until you asked me, and then suddenly it
So how do you
disappeared.
do the piedra papel o tijera un dos tres rock paper scissors and mandarin? Do you have that?
Rochambeau, right? That's Chinese. I don't think that's Mandarin, but Rochambeau is what Americans say, and that's a Chinese
Oh
term.
really? I
Yeah.
didn't know. I didn't know that. Okay.
You want to try that?
Yes, but I'll
give me
say it
one
in
sec.
Spanish,
Got my pen. Okay, great.
just to
Go
know
ahead.
who goes first. Ready?
Yep.
Piedra papel o tijera. Uno, dos, tres.
Wait.
What do you do? Scissors.
Okay.
You this is
Let's try
otra
again.
vez. One more time.
Yeah.
Piedra papel o tijera. Un, dos, tres.
Okay, you go first.
Okay,
Right?
so I go first. Yes. So line number one. If anybody wants to throw me a word, I have the comments here on StreamYard. I don't know if you've seen the comments on StreamYard. You just hit the little thing on the right. There's like a little comments button.
Oh, there's so many people. There are 2 people. That's so many. Yeah,
Well, it's more than you and I, right? Like this,
more
we
than
have.
you and I.
This is great. Okay, so I'll go first. Um, okay, your turn. So you
Wait.
just put the number 2. I won't tell you what I wrote.
I'll put the number 2, and that's what starts.
No. So I just wrote my line. So now it's your turn, and then we'll
But we don't
read
know.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, with Exquisite Corpse, you don't.
Okay. Okay. I
We
thought
don't
there's
share
some
it.
kind of. Okay. All right.
If we were in person, we would fold this, and then I would pass it on to you.
Why don't you play some music while I write, or something like that? Why don't you do a little? I have 3 more lines to go. All right. So. Mhm. Okay. Okay. Oh, I see. So just 1 and 1, and then 1 and 1. Okay. Sorry. All right. So I've written my line. Okay. You're on mute, by the way.
So you wrote your line, like number 2, right?
I wrote my line number 2. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I'm writing number 3.
Yeah.
So it's like you fold it, you pass it on to me, kind of a thing, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I fold this and I pass it on to you.
Okay. I get it. Change color for some reason. Okay.
¿Listo? Okay. Doing number 5. Mm. Listo.
Hand it to me. Did you hand it to me already?
There you go. Don't look at it.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Pass it on to me. Pásamela. How do I say pásamela in Mandarin?
给我。给我。
给我。给我.
Yeah.
All right. Number 7.
给我一个吻，可以不可以？绯闻也没关系，我一样爱着你。给我一个吻，绯闻也可以。亲吻代表甜蜜，我一样爱上你。7 lonely days makes one lonely week. 7 lonely nights make one lonely me. Ever since that time, you told me we were through. 7 lonely nights, I cry and cry for you.
All right.
I already know what I'm gonna write.
Your turn. Oh, really?
Okay. Play one chord and I'll be done.
One
Just
chord.
One chord.
All right.
Okay.
Yay, so I think we're done, right? Oh, no, one
Yeah.
more. Shoot.
No, that's 8.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So this is
I got
my.
scared.
Ah?
I got scared. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So All right, so number one, well, we don't say the number. I'll just start. The light interrupted the stream.
And like a small, unremarkable nebula,
The confusion slips in for a second or two.
so now we wait.
We will gather again and eat all the dumplings of the world.
But what if they turn out nothing like we vowed they'd be?
In this little corner of the room, if I'm lucky, magic may come visit me.
And so we wait.
Oh,
Oh, it
this
actually
is sweet.
makes sense. It actually like worked.
It actually worked.
Yeah, that's pretty good chemistry.
Oh, my
Anyway,
friend,
and,
I
you
miss
know-
you so much.
I'm not cheating. Like I wrote these.
I'm not cheating either. Oh,
Yeah.
we're connected. I think today was beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was
you know
dope.
what? It was
That
really
so
helpful
dope.
to hear.
That actually worked. Wow.
I know. Make sure you save it because when all this is over, we're gonna get together and we're gonna do more of these. But this will be our
And then
first.
we'll be like, everybody stop. I know we just defeated virus, possibly fascism or whatever, but now you're gonna hear us do our poems. Please stop.
Yes.
Yeah, put down the dumpling. Put down your child. Just stop. We got poetry to do. Okay,
Oh, my
shall we say
love.
goodbye?
Yeah, unless there's something that you want, because this will stay recorded, so hopefully people will watch, and if not, whatever. But is there anything I forgot to ask you? Like, is there anything exciting that you're working on or that you're watching that is inspiring you or that you're really enjoying
Okay,
watching or
yes.
listening to?
All right. Yeah, so many things. But first of all, one, everybody go to Amazon and watch. Actually, not everybody. This is a kind of slow movie that veers from like realism to magical realism. But it's very funny and satirical. It's a Taiwanese movie called The Great Buddha Plus.
The Great Buddha.
And I think they call it that because they made a short film called The Great Buddha, and then when they made a feature, they're like Great Buddha Plus. It's a great little movie, and it does all the things that I feel like a movie should do, and I love it. And it really is about this like homeless guy and his best friend who just like an old this losery guy who works at a security outpost in like this little countryside like art studio for a really rich guy. And they're so bored with their lives that they decide to steal the rich guy's like dash cam, like traffic cam memory cards, and then just like watch where that guy goes and like imagine the amazing life this guy must be having and amazing sex that he must be getting just by like listening to his like dirty talks and just watching his car like pull in and out of like motels and stuff like that. And then all these things develop from there. But it just such a great, like sad but real idea. And then they just built a whole movie out of it. And I love it. And then what am I doing? I am like 7, 10, 12 pages away from finishing the screenplay that I've been working on for 15 months.
That's amazing news. Congratulations.
Well, congratulate me when it's good. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've written
Well,
already, and it's it's the closest I felt like to a finished thing because I've written a few times. Have you ever written something so many times you feel like you've written like 5 or 6 different things,
yes.
and you taught yourself all these skills about what to do, what not to do, but all you have to show for it is that one thing in the end. This is what that felt like. But it's called High Priestess of Souls. It's about a washed up exorcist who lives in Chinatown, who is hired to track down like a dead runaway Mexican girl.
You told me about this, right? It was supposed to be yes. Yeah, I think I've
told
heard
you
about
it. And High Priestess of Soul is Nina Simone's nickname, so I changed it to High Priestess of Souls. And even though it's a kung fu exorcist movie, there are a lot of little nods to Nina Simone. So
I feel bad we didn't. Should we? Let's see.
we
I
can
feel
do a
like-
sequel.
What was
You
that?
can do this when you're would you be able to do this when you're abroad, when you're traveling,
To do what?
to do another episode?
Oh, yes, totally. We
Okay,
need to do
but all
another
right.
one. Yeah.
But anyways, what are you gonna say? Sorry.
Oh no, that I'm gonna put the link of the videos I was gonna share. I think that's probably easier and
Yeah.
nicer. So I'm gonna share
Mhm.
them on the comments,
Yeah.
so people can, yeah, can look at the amazing stuff you've done. I was gonna share with everyone the your short "Don't Be a Hero," which I think it's amazing.
Yeah, that thing is 2 years, almost 3 years old.
Yeah, but
Uh,
it's I love
what is
it.
the last thing? Oh, Mr. Jew's cookbook. If you like
Right.
Chinese food, like his Chinatown, like stories about the Asian diaspora in America, as told through food, then go pre-order this book, Mr. Jew's in Chinatown, JIU. Yeah, go pre-order it, and you don't have to do it through Amazon. There are other places that also sell books, such as Powell or City Lights, or even Random House's website
Nice.
themselves. So, yeah.
Oh, not
And
bookstore book.
good job that we have a new president who is just slightly easier to deal with. Not completely impossible. So, good job, everybody. We had a hand in that, and y'all know
You
that
did.
we
I
all.
didn't. No, I did. I did. I did. I think I
Did you
convinced
vote?
a
You're a
few
citizen now.
family. No, I'm a resident. I have a green card. Green card holders.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Contrary to what a lot of Trump supporters believe, they thought we were out there voting and getting all of our
Good
big
job.
Mexican
Congrats.
families.
Congrats. You did it.
No, but
Um,
I actually helped a bunch of my cousins vote. They would text me and said like, when is it that I have to vote again? Like they didn't know
Yeah,
when.
it depends on who you're voting for. If you're voting for Trump, then after Thanksgiving.
Right, exactly. That's what I said to some of my family members. Believe
Yeah,
it or
isn't that
not.
crazy that some of our family members are on that train now? It's
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
suddenly personal. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I was listening to this podcast and all these, like, I always, I'm a big advocate for like mercy and for understanding, like where people are coming from. And like, I was learning to not condemn, like I try not to, I try to herd this family member of mine who, and I wanted to hear why that was happening. And I think I got it, I'm not sure that I convinced him not to vote for him. I didn't want to do that. I just really just wanted to know where he was coming from. And
Yeah, I think the stakes are a little higher, a little lower, at least for now, just because uh, both of where we coming from, like both of the people that we're reaching out to, it doesn't feel as life and death because they are not like gonna be the people to like tip that scale. But it gets really scary because it's only a matter of time, right?
yeah,
Before these, like right now, weirdly, in a weird way, their votes don't count. A lot of my friends who like Trump they're not American, they're Taiwanese. A lot of like small progressive democracies, they usually like Republicans because Republicans love to stir shit up and to talk tough against like the bigger governments. So a lot of those little Asian countries, where if they were to get a Trump, they go nuts. But they like the Americans' foreign policies because they hold other things in check and that kind of stuff. It's and also the way they receive news is so like piecemeal. If you don't really if they don't really live here, it's really hard for them to understand,
yeah.
to make heads and tails of like American domestic policy and that kind of stuff. And also for a lot of them, it's just like impossible to imagine if you don't live in a place that is like teetering towards fascism. It can all just sound like rhetoric. And for a lot of them, they just can't imagine. They're like, oh, you guys are so much more democratic. America holds so much more power. It's like whatever I'm saying, it's so foreign to them that I must be exaggerating or I must be like media claims or whatever. It's pretty crazy. We can talk about this another time.
We will. We will.
I have another meeting to go to. All right. Cool. It's a Zoom day.
I love
Zoom
you
day
so
for me.
much, Pete, and thank you
I
so
love
much
you
for
too.
sharing
Yeah.
yourself to us, to my friends. This
Yeah.
was Una Hoja en Blanco sessions with, where are you? Right here. Pete Lee. I'm trying to do there. Pete Lee.
¿Cómo se dice Pete Lee en español?
Pedro Lee.
Pedro
Heather
Lee.
is asking if you can do a few bars from Daisy. I miss hearing you sing that one. Maybe you can say goodbye with that one.
Okay.
And I'll find a filter
Daisy.
here, a nice filter
That's
to.
crazy that you remember that song. Daisy, I wrote about. It was the name of a stewardess from Air Trans. Remember that airline?
Which
That
airline?
Air Tran.
I don't remember. Oh, yes. A long time
Anyway,
ago.
I wrote a poem about her that I was gonna give to her, even though she wasn't. I think she was a first class a flight attendant, and I passed out. And when I woke up, everybody was gone. So I just wrote a song instead.
And we'll say goodbye with that one. How's that?
Huh?
And we will say goodbye with that one. When you finish it,
Okay.
we'll
I'll just
slowly
do
fade away.
the first verse and chorus.
Okay.
Rain don't grow, sun don't show. Struck me in high noon. I don't have that many more days when I can withstand this view. Heaven will dance and sky will bloom. I will sing this tune. I long to get to the middle of you. Oh man, I don't remember. I think Rose keeps on haunting my dreams, but Daisy, you're so crazy. The cup of tea you make me. Nightmares can never face me. Tell your smile to chase me. Go on, fall in love with me. Daisy, knowing nothing about you, except that you're pretty. And you step on the clouds to travel from city to city. Daisy, light in the bottle, the size of heaven. They can never afford to look the ray of sunshine that feels my 747. Something like that.
Yay! Yay!
All
It's
right,
not a Daisy, but I love you so much, Pete.
All right. Besos.
Besos,
再见,
adios.
everybody. All right.
Thanks everyone for joining.